Hello, welcome in guys, welcome in. Today I wanted to do a little bit of a different video. This is my first time doing this type of video, but I just watched the honkaistarrail 3.2 live stream, and I think we all know that currently honkaistarrail is in a bit of hot water. So I wanted to try out something new and kind of go through all of the things that we just watched in the live stream, take a look at what we got from the live stream, and then maybe kind of give my personal thoughts on whether or not I think that it was enough. Whether I think, was it enough? Was the honkaistarrail 3.2 live stream enough to appease players at the moment? So yeah, we're gonna do a quick summary of everything. I think I have everything written down here. I had to make a list because I have very bad memory, so hopefully I got everything here. If I did miss anything in this video, feel free to let me know in the comments. I tried my best, but you know, I'm doing my best out here. But anyways, so yeah, so first and foremost, I personally am really excited for the 3.2 update. I am a huge story enjoyer, character enjoyer, so those are the things that I care about the most. However, I did want to go through everything else as well, even things that I don't usually keep that much track of, just so we can have like a kind of like overall fair perspective of what we got from the 3.2 live stream. So yeah, here we go. So for the story, looks amazing. I think the trailer looks super great. I think the animations in the cutscenes that they showed in the trailer already, I think have been even more of an improvement from some of the previous ones. Like the cinematography, the effects look super great. So I'm very excited for that story, especially because they mentioned how we are going to be basically going through the story of not just one, but 2 core flames this patch. So I think that's going to be pretty huge for both Castorice and Anaxa, and I am really excited on that front. So story-wise, I think it's super good, super solid, and I'm super looking forward to it. Okay, but guys, listen, the story is not what people are most talking about right now, okay? So on to the characters. This is gonna be, I don't know how long this is gonna be, but yeah, so guys, all of you probably watching this know that currently Starrail, a lot of people are very upset with honkaistarrail and the direction the meta is heading. I personally am not that much of a meta follower. I don't really care that much for the most part about meta and damage and things like that. So that's my preface. So I don't usually keep up with these things. However, TLDR, the entire thing is Castorice in Starrail is a character who in fact is getting the first global passive. So basically what that means is that if you have her on your account, her passive will apply to all battles regardless of whether she's in your team or not. Obviously, I think anyone can understand why, if she is the first character who can do this, why this can be a very slippery slope and how it can snowball into a very big meta slog fest because it opens up the possibility of, you know, adding characters who have very OP passives in the future, damage buffs, things like that, in which then they will be basically a must pull if you want to clear content, which is, you know, not great if we're putting it lightly. So yeah, Castorice, a lot of people were hoping that they would remove the passive, but no, the passive is still in. The passive seems like it is definitely still part of her kit. Her animations look amazing though. I do really like her animations and how she looks. She's one of my favorite characters who I have been looking forward to since they did release Emphorius. So again, I don't care too much about meta. I know some of you might disagree with this, but I'm probably still gonna pull my 1 copy and then get her, because I pull for simping, okay? I pull for simping, so that's all. I'm gonna still do that most likely. However, I can totally understand why people are upset about this. My personal thoughts, okay? My personal thoughts on Castorice's passive. Her passive itself, if you look at like her passive and what it actually does, so she has a global passive where if you have a character die in battle, they will get 1 free revive, essentially. So you get 1 free revive per battle, and then that's what it does. The passive itself, honestly, not that strong, okay? I'll be so real. If you're gonna play a battle, if you're gonna die in the battle, you're probably gonna restart it anyways. So Castorice's passive, I don't personally find that OP. However, the precedence it sets with having that global passive in the game is very dangerous due to the fact that, like I mentioned before, you know, it can then lead down the path of other characters having very OP ones in the future. my hope, okay, maybe I'm a bit of an optimist in this front, but I do kind of feel like it would be very, very nice if Castorice is passive, because Castorice is clearly a very special character in terms of the Star Rail lore. In terms of Amphorius, at least, she is clearly one of the favorite children, and she's also the character coming out for the anniversary patch too. So I hope it's kind of like an Acheron situation in which they make one character, you know, have this special ability. Acheron had her kill monsters outside of battle without having to go into battle. Castorice has her global passive, and then hopefully they do not, you know, implement this very often. They only implement it for very special characters. That is how I hope they treat it. And only time will tell if that is actually the path they are taking. I do understand that, you know, like sometimes with the decision making in terms of the Star Rail meta, it does not really, you know, add a lot of, it does not like lead to a lot of faith of them heading down this direction. But that is my hope. That is my hope. So I think in terms of the global passive, we'll have to see. I think we have to wait and see if they do end up treading down that path of making more characters with these really OP passives. So in terms of that, that's like the kind of like my opinion on the Castorice situation. Anaxa. If anything, I was more surprised with Anaxa, okay? Anaxa, I didn't see his full kit, but the part of his kit that I did see was that bro can add 7 weaknesses to the enemy. I'm not sure if those weaknesses only apply to himself when he does damage or other people. I guess it wouldn't make sense if it's just himself, since he only has one element to attack with. So yeah, if anything, I find Anaxa a lot more OP. Literally Silverwolf found dead in a ditch, by the way. So it seems like they might be kind of starting to do away with the whole weakness break system as a whole, which I don't really know how I feel about that yet at the moment. I don't particularly love it, but I think Anaxa himself looks really cool. I like him a lot as a character, but his kit, I don't know, looks pretty damn OP to me, okay? I don't know. Again, let me know if you guys have a better understanding of how exactly it works, but that's the... I was surprised, okay? When they announced what he did, I was very surprised, that is all. But yeah, okay. In terms of the events, honestly, there was not much. They released that one like bouncing event, which I think is really cute. I do like the idea of this new event a lot more than the previous one with the super auto pets. So I am excited to play it. But it was just like that one big event, and then that was it. And then I guess some like other side, some of those like quick clear events as well. So nothing really much in terms of the event department. A bit disappointing there, because I was disappointed with the lack of events in 3.1 as well. So it looks like 3.2 is also kind of falling down the line. However, we do have the anniversary events, which we will talk about in a second. So that might actually make it feel a bit more balanced. But for the events for the 3.2 patch specifically, like for related to the like story stuff, then there's only the one. So there's only the one like that I think is worth talking about. So yeah. They did make it permanent though. Yes, they did mention that they are starting to make some of the bigger events permanent, which I think is really nice, since they did that with some of the earlier events and then they kind of didn't do that for a long time. So it's nice that they're starting to bring that back, because I like it when games allow players to be able to play things at their own pace without having to, you know, suffer from FOMO about having to play the event while it's still live. So that's a good thing. I like that. I like that change. Very nice. QOL. There wasn't too much QOL. Again, there was a bit of QOL in the anniversary as well with the banners, but I'll talk about that in the anniversary stuff as well. But for the direct QOL for 3.2 in particular, we just had 2 relic dismantling QOLs, which are very helpful, but you know, it's nothing too exceptional. It's just 2 small things. So very nice, but nothing to really talk about there. And okay, the anniversary. This is where the meat and bones come in. So the anniversary, first things first, we get a idle game mode. So this is a anniversary event, kind of. I guess this is the current version of the previous one, which was like the board game mode. This is an idle game. I personally really like idle games, so I really like it. I know there's a lot of people in my chat as well who also don't really like it though. So I think this is just more of a preference type of game mode, but it does give you a free like code, which is nice. which is nice, but usually the big events do also give free light cones. So I also don't think this is anything in particular super special. 30 pulls, 30 pulls. We are getting 30 free pulls from this patch. However, to be completely objective and fair, okay? Every Starrail patch gives us 10 pulls. Let's be real. So if we're talking about the anniversary rewards in isolation from the patch rewards, this is technically 20 pulls, okay? This is technically 20 pulls outside of the norm. I just wanted to make that clarification. If I'm trying to be like as objective as I can here while expressing my opinion. So this is 20 pulls outside of the norm, since we usually get a free 10. So it's not bad. It's not bad at all. That's a decent amount of pulls, but that is what it is. We're getting the music concert, of course, very nice. I love it when they have these concert events. I definitely will be watch partying that when it comes out. We also have the fan contest. It's a fan contest, nothing to say there. There's the phone collab, also nothing too special. You know, they have these types of collabs all the time with companies, so pretty cool. Doesn't affect me. I'm not buying a new phone for Starrail is all I'm saying. The yearly report, also very standard. For the anniversary, we have 3 times farming. Some extra rewards, very nice. Okay, the big thing. A free 5-star. We are getting a free 5-star. They are giving us a free limited 5-star. It's either Ruanmei or Luocha. Ruanmei and Luocha, as far as I'm aware, are both very, very useful units. Super useful. I don't know if they're as useful now. I know Ruanmei has she's still pretty useful, but again, I don't keep up with meta, so I'm not 100% sure if she's as OP as she was, you know, when she first initially launched, but still pretty damn good. We're getting our free 5-star, and it is limited unit, which is nice because, you know, I honestly kind of expected it to be just a standard character, you know, like a standard banner selector, something like that, which is, you know, still a free 5-star, but no one really cares about the standard banner characters. Okay, we'll be so real. So it's nice that we're getting a free limited character. Very, very cool. Pretty huge. I think this is pretty great. And then, okay, so this is also another pretty big thing. I think I was discussing with chat earlier, and I think we figured out exactly what they mean. They weren't very clear about some of these things during the live stream, so these are our interpretations. So if I got any of these interpretations incorrect, then again, feel free to let me know and correct me. I would love to be corrected and know what's actually going on. But as far as I am aware, for the character event warp that they mentioned something about 7 characters that you can like add to the pool or whatever. So basically how I think it works is for the character event warp, the limited banners, they have added in so that now when you lose the 50-50, you can select a pool of 7 characters, including the standard banner characters, plus 3 new ones, which are Scylla, Blade, and Fushuan. So you can add those to your potential 50-50 loss units. I believe that's how it works. And then it seems like this is a permanent feature because they mentioned from 3.2 onwards in the live stream. Again, they weren't super clear about exactly how that works, but that is, as far as my understanding, that's how it works, which is pretty cool. Now you can definitely avoid Yanqing. You guys can avoid pulling Yanqing on your accounts. So pretty lit, very nice. Obviously, they've added in a few characters who are not really used as much nowadays. You know, I think it's kind of understandable that they would add characters that are a bit weaker into the standard banner pool, but it is still cool that they have added that. So pretty cool. And it is technically QOL, but again, they announced it during the anniversary bit, so that's why I wanted to include it in the anniversary section. So yeah, I do think this is pretty nice. However, I initially thought that it was like a lot like more lit. Like I thought it was basically, oh my god, you can select your 50-50 loss unit, but that's not the case. It's still a RNG out of a pool of 7 in which you can pick that 7, including the standard banner characters. So yeah, okay, pretty lit. And then the final anniversary thing that they mentioned, also, again, they weren't super clear about this, but I did, after discussion, what it seems like. So they've added 3 new light cones to the shop, which are the 5-star light cones for the characters that have been added to the standard banner selector pool for the event warp. They didn't mention if those characters, Fushuan, Scylla, and Blade, are getting added to the standard banner. So that's also very unclear. I'm assuming it's just on the event warp 1 out of 7 that we can get them. So I think if they were going to add them to the standard banner, they would have mentioned. So the fact that they didn't leads me to believe that they are not doing that. So yeah, anyways, they are added the light cones for the 3 of them into the shop, which usually, you know, the crystal shards that you usually get from the shop to spend in this light cone shop, you get from whaling. However, the event in 3.2 allows you to get 4, so you can basically claim 1 of these light cones for free. Okay, so it's basically a free light cone provided you play the event. So that's pretty good. Pretty lit. Free 5-star light cone, and you can even select which one it is for the other units, like the 3 new units that they've added. So I'm probably gonna get Luochas. I'll be honest. Probably gonna get Luochas. Very useful for me. So yeah, and that's it for the anniversary. I mean, honestly, looking at the list of the anniversary stuff, it is a lot more than it kind of felt when they were presenting it, but it's still like a lot of them are just kind of like, you know, small things that usually we get anyway. So anyways, okay, so moving on to the last section, which is things that they've mentioned for the future. They mentioned quite a few things for the future, including trailers and things like that, but I'm not really going to get into those because they're just extra media. The ones that stood out to me were 3.4 buffs. They promised to buff old units. So for 3.4, they mentioned which units they're buffing. Silverwolf, Blade, Kafka, Jinglu. I find it funny how they're buffing Silverwolf when she's literally found dead in a ditch from Anaxa, but that's just a small side point. Small side point I find a little bit hilarious. But I mean, it's nice they didn't really elaborate on what the buffs are. So I don't know how big these buffs are, but they told us which units they're buffing. So for me, I'm glad because I would really like to use Jinglu again. She's one of my favorite characters and also voiced by one of my favorite people. So very hype about that. But again, we don't know what the buffs are, so we'll see in the future. They mentioned 3.8 story updates for Penacony. So I think, from my understanding, these are basically expansions of the Penacony story that they were unable to address during the Penacony story, which already did kind of like drag on in certain parts. So I personally am really excited for that. I think it's pretty sick, pretty cool, because I am a huge lore story person, okay? So the fact that they're expanding on older plot lines for regions we've already left makes me very happy, because then that means that once we leave a region, it's not just dead and gone. So I'm excited for that. We'll see exactly what they mean a bit closer when they reveal more information about that, but pretty sick. And then they did also mention a possible free future 5-star. My chat and I are guessing it might be from the Fake collab. That could be what they're mentioning. Why else would they mention it now? So I feel like maybe for the Fake collab, they might give us a free 5-star, which I think would be pretty sick. Again, this is just speculation. This is just complete guessing with no basis, okay? Disclaimer. But they did mention that we are going to get a free future 5-star. However, they mentioned this right beside the free Ranma and Luocha. So I do feel like them mentioning this 5-star is a bit of a... I don't know the term for it, but it is a bit of... a little bit misleading, I guess, in them trying to basically make this current patch 3.2 itself seem like a lot better in terms of the rewards. Like, holy shit, 3.2 is giving us 2 free 5-stars. No, that's not the case. They're giving us 1 free 5-star, and then they mentioned that we'll get another 5-star in the future for a different patch. So just if we're, you know, objectively, that is exactly what's happening. I still think it's pretty sick we're getting a free future 5-star, but it is a future patch, not 3.2. So that's why I'm putting it in the extra section, because it's technically not 3.2 itself. So yeah, that's basically everything from 3.2. As far as I'm aware, again, if I missed anything, please feel free to leave a comment down below. Let me know. This is the first time I'm doing a video like this, so it definitely probably could be better. But yeah, my overall thoughts about this patch and live stream, I personally feel like this patch is pretty solid, okay? Hear me out. I know a lot of you guys are probably very upset right now, and I understand why, but I feel like objectively, this patch is pretty solid. We're getting a pretty decent amount of story. The characters themselves look really good in terms of like their animations and everything. The events, you know, kind of mid. QOL, kind of mid, but there is still QOL. Anniversary itself, I think the anniversary is pretty solid. However, I do not think that it is anything exceptional. okay? I think that my overall feelings for the anniversary and 3.2 are that it has a good basis. It's a decent amount of content. I think if this were a regular patch, a regular situation in which people were not super upset about, you know, Castorice and the entire situation with Star Rail recently, that people would be pretty satisfied with this patch. Do I think this patch is enough to satisfy people's, you know, like, anger and stuff to compensate for everything else that's going on in terms of like the passive and stuff? No, I don't think this is enough. I think people expected this patch to wow them. I think that people expected this patch to be exceptional, to kind of offset how disappointed they were in terms of like the characters and these things in particular. So I don't think the Star Rail 3.2 live stream was enough in that sense. I think for me, content wise, I am satisfied, but I think a lot of people will not be. So those are my general thoughts about everything. Let me know how you guys feel, okay? I tried to come at this from a very as neutral as I could perspective. Obviously, I am giving the game, I'm probably biased, you know, a bit towards the game because I do really enjoy it. It's one of my favorite games. And I personally really enjoyed 3.1 story. I know some people still didn't, but I did okay. Maybe I'm biased because I also downed Atrocious from Mydei, but I feel like the 3.1 story was very solid, pacing wise, exposition wise, everything. So I am coming into 3.2 with high hopes in terms of the story. But with everything else, you know, I tried to be very fair for what I see and then what I think. So yeah, let me know if you guys agree, disagree in the comments down below. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Please try to be civil though. Arguments do stress me out, so please try to be civil in the comments. I'd love to have discussions, but yeah, that's about it. I hope you guys enjoyed this little summary thoughts video. Was 3.2 live stream enough? I don't think it was enough to quell people's anger. However, I do think it is still a pretty solid patch overall. So yeah, curious to see how you guys feel. And I guess I will, if this goes well, if this doesn't go well, we'll see if I do more videos like this in the future. I really would like to have more discussions. I think it's really cool because normally I just react to story and I have a good time doing that, but it's nice to talk about these things too. So yeah, let me know and I guess I'll catch you guys in the next one. Sorry if this was a bit rambly again. This is one of my first times trying something like this. So hopefully you enjoyed and yeah, see you YouTube and catch you next time. Bye-bye.